What's up guys, it's your girl M and I'm back with another video for you today, and today we are going to be doing the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 13 Episode 2 recap. This episode to me was a little bit more interesting than the last episode, the first episode, the season premiere episode, so I actually enjoyed this one a little bit, and I think at the end, when we get a little bit of taste of what's to come next week, my girls are bringing it. I'm excited. And we get some more hints. Oh gosh, my camera's falling. We get a little bit more insight to the tension between not only Dorit and PK, but Kyle and Mauricio. So it was pretty interesting. Let me just go ahead and open up my notes because I wrote notes this time, so I can make sure I don't forget to talk about anything. So we started it out where Dorit and Erica, they have a tea party. It's like a tea party picnic. Dorit had somebody, this like company set it up for her. So it was really cute, and they have a conversation, and Dorit was like, you know, I wish you would have led with the apology. And Erica understood, and they made nice, and Erica was like, you know what, I need to make this right because I really care and value you. And Dorit then also confesses and says, you know what, me and PK have been having issues, and that's why it hit me more than it normally would have. And then Erica, you know, in her confessional is like, I wouldn't have said it if I knew they were having issues, you know, I would have ruined somebody else's situation. So they make nice, which is great. And we find out that Dorit was actually robbed again. So 14 months ago, well, 14 months before she gets robbed again, she had the home invasion where she was held at gunpoint. Robbers stole handbags, jewelry, things like that. And so she was still dealing with the PTSD from that situation. And then she has another thing happen to her where she takes $10,000 out to go out of the bank to go Christmas shop. My God, my camera wants to fall again. Took $10,000 out of the bank in cash, put it in her handbag, and went Christmas shopping, which is like, why don't you just use your debit card, girl? Why'd you take $10K out? So this is like a little bit fishy, but you don't want to like, I'm not saying anything really because you don't know, but like you could have just used your debit card. But she put the $10K in her purse. She gets to a register or something, realizes her handbag isn't there. They call the cops, and then they look at the security footage, and apparently 3 men had been following her. And so that startled her. It freaked her out. It threw her right. Oh my God. Why won't this stay? Okay, but anyways, 3 men were following her. They got her handbag, and she was just really thrown off. And she felt like PK wasn't there for her enough after that happened, and after the home invasion. She just felt like there was this distance. And so she confides in Erica, and Erica's understanding all of that. So then we go into the next scene, and that is Sutton and Garcelle are talking about throwing a birthday party for Crystal in Las Vegas. So that's very exciting. They basically were like, we need to get the stick out of her ass. Like, we need Crystal to let loose and have fun. So that's going to be exciting. Sutton then meets with a matchmaker, and she calls herself the One Date Wonder. She's confused as to why she can go on so many first dates, but not a lot of second dates. And she says that she is terrible at dates, blah, 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 blah. She doesn't understand why, and she thinks it's because she just kind of comes on strong, and she doesn't want a man to lead her. And the matchmaker's like, well, you kind of got to play into it. And Sutton's like, no, I'm a strong, independent woman. I'm not going to play the damsel in distress situation. And she doesn't want a man to lead her. Like, she wants to be her own leader, which I understand. And she also wants them to be tall. She emphasized tall, and handsome, and college educated. So I hope you find them, Sutton. And then we go into, we see Crystal and her husband, Hip Hop Rob, which is a nickname his friends gave him, and her brother Jeff. And Jeff actually is like a crazy famous pop star in China. And basically, like Crystal said, that he's like called like the Justin Bieber of China, which is very interesting and kind of cool. But he is talking about him being single because he had an engagement that was broken off. He was like engaged for like 3 years or something, or with the woman for 3 years, and then it's been 2 or 3 years since they broke up. And the pandemic is kind of what broke them up, because he went back to Beverly Hills and she couldn't come to Beverly Hills because she had a Chinese passport and he had a United States passport. So that was kind of like the demise of their relationship, and that sucks. That's hard. You know, it wasn't just like boyfriend, girlfriend. It was an engagement that failed. So, and he is actually like 41 and was like, well, what if I date some 20-year-old or not 20-year-old, but like somebody 20 years younger or like around that, because that's the age difference between Hip Hop Rob and Crystal. And it was kind of like this funny little debate back and forth. And apparently Jeff kind of thought that Hip Hop Rob was a little bit of a sleazeball. And if you don't know about Hip Hop Rob is the director of The Lion King. He and Kyle, they go on a car ride, but really Kyle is trying to surprise Dorit with an anniversary thing. She's like in cahoots with PK, Dorit's husband, and they're going to the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. And Kyle rolls up in I guess it's called a Range Rover Autobiography. Never heard of it. And the reason I've never heard of it is because that car costs $165,000. $165,000 is how much that car costs. Must be nice. But honestly, if I had the amount of money to spend $165K on a car, I don't think I would. I think I would still get like a Toyota. Because I've heard a lot of bad things about Range Rovers breaking all the time. And I just would not be able to be... If I spend that kind of money, it better not break down ever. Ever. Okay. Onward. We're gonna keep going. So Kyle and PK are surprising Dorit with a little like Pretty Woman moment. So they're going to the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, and Dorit thinks that they're just having lunch, but Kyle and PK have like created this whole thing, or I guess PK has. Kyle's just like getting Dorit there and, you know, being a support or whatever. Basically, PK is wanting to reenact Pretty Woman, which is one of my favorite movies. This is actually like, this whole thing made me want to watch Pretty Woman later on tonight, which I probably will. And Kyle is like skeptical about it. She's like, so you want Dorit to pretend she's a sex worker? And like, she was kind of laughing about it, but that's basically what's about to happen at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. PK is gonna do this whole Pretty Woman thing. So while they're on their way to the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, Dorit confronts Kyle about her marriage, and she says like there's just like a heaviness, a distance, and that her and PK would go and hang out with Mauricio and Kyle like all the time. And lately, they haven't done that. Like, she hasn't seen Kyle and Mo acting like a couple lately. And so she's kind of inquisitive. Dorit clocked in this season. Dorit has clocked in this season, and I'm excited because the past couple seasons have been kind of like, she's been kind of like a flat line. But this season, she's in action. And Kyle basically kind of plays it off and is like, yeah, we've had like, she doesn't really say they've had issues, but she was just saying like that she feels like she needed a little bit of freedom. And they kind of leave it at that. And Dorit's like, well, if you ever want to talk about it, you can. But if I bring something up and you don't want to talk about it, like, we don't have to talk about it. And Dorit's confessional, she is pretty skeptical as to like what Kyle is saying. Like, she just feels like something's brewing, but she doesn't want to push Kyle. So then we go to Garcelle. She's talking about the pink moon. She's saying that she needs that energy. She hopes it shifts the energy. And then she goes to meet up with Sutton. Sutton got barbecue. And Garcelle's like, oh my gosh, Sutton, you outdid yourself. And Sutton was like, I called Postmates. And Sutton tells Garcelle about the matchmaker and is just like, I think I kind of was rough on the matchmaker because I want to be like an active participant in my next relationship, because her previous marriage, it wasn't to her liking. Like, she didn't feel like she had really any say in her relationship, in her last marriage, like that she didn't have any power, and like he was making all the decisions, and like the only decision she got to make was like vacation, like summer vacation, and she just was like sick of it. She felt like she gave up her power, and she doesn't want to do that in another relationship. And then Garcelle, it turns out the combo that she had last episode with Jax and Jade, it was like the day prior, so she's still feeling like emotional and raw about it, and she feels like she's like kind of failed as a mom, and that Jax had said that he mentioned that he wanted to move in with his dad, and she was just like kind of feeling heartbroken and sad about it. And Sutton just reassures her and was like, teenage boys are hard and you're gonna get through this, but it's just a little bit difficult because teenage boys can kind of be assholes, and that's what she said. Sutton and Garcelle are like, well, they make a comment like the reason they're such good friends and they've connected so well because they met on the show, that they have this connection because they're both single moms who are still like very present in their ex-husbands' lives. Like, so they have like a lot of similarities. Like, they have to deal with their ex-husbands and co-parenting their children, and it can be hard, and they have each other to lean on, which I think was really sweet and cute. We go back to DORIT, who's at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, and she's like, it's chaos. Like, she's anxious. She doesn't know what's going on. She's not enjoying the surprise because she has no control over anything. She doesn't understand what's going on. And then PK was being messy in his little confessional and was like, he made a comment about Mo never like surprising Kyle, which was kind of interesting. And I was like, okay, PK, you're being a little bit messy. But then DORIT calls her kids because she's like, she's like just like anxious because she's like, I don't know what's going on with my kids. Like, where are they? What's happening? Like, what's going on tonight? Like, she just wants to know the plans, but they're trying to surprise her. So when she calls her kids say, Mom, we know what's happening. We're involved. Have fun. We're okay. We have our dog. Like, they just reassure her, and then she like kind of calms down. And then her glam team comes in, and then they have her stylist too, and they have like all these like red dresses for the Pretty Woman theme. And then she's like, okay, she kind of like gets into her like style mode, but she's not really happy because I don't think she's very happy with like the choices of red dresses. Like, she wants to be the one to choose a red dress, but she just like had to choose the ones that they had already pre-selected, and she was a little annoyed by that. And she wants to kind of like go into that like movie fantasy or whatever. And then she meets PK in the bar, and he shows up with a necklace, and they do the little like Pretty Woman scene where he like shuts the box with the necklace on her hand, and she goes, ah! You know, of course they do that, but it's a loaner necklace, and guess how much the loaner necklace is? $5 million. That's how much the loaner necklace is. Obviously, PK didn't buy it because PK has like a gambling problem, and their money situation always throws me off. Like, I don't understand it whatsoever. But it's just a loaner. He did not pay for it. They're just lending it, or they're just borrowing it for the night. And I think you have to sign like crazy amounts of paperwork. I know rich people do that all the time. Like, they'll rent their jewelry for like specific events and things like that because they like, I guess they have to prove that they have the capital to pay for it if something goes wrong. But I don't think PK has like the capital to pay for a $5 million necklace. So I don't know. Maybe Bravo helps out. I don't know. They go up to this suite, right? And then Berlin, the actual duo, Berlin, they're like playing Take My Breath Away, which is not a Pretty Woman song. And it was so funny because the Bravo producers are so shady. They like put on the screen, they were like from Top Gun, not Pretty Woman. And she's like, you know, just like kind of like freaking out. She's like, oh, PK, oh, honey. Oh, they're talking about her like drink or whatever. And she's like, PK, you don't even know like my drink. And he was like a vodka tonic or something like that. And she was like, no, it's a vodka soda. And if you know Dorit, if you know Real Houses of Beverly Hills, you know that Dorit's drink is a Belvedere vodka soda with 3 lemons squeezed in, carcass out. And PK doesn't know that? PK. Oh, and also it needs to be in a short glass. So then they kind of get into like an argument at the like dinner table or whatever, because after like the performance, they go and sit and eat. And they kind of get into this little argument because PK is upset that he can't like surprise Dorit because she's like so anxious now with everything that's happened. And he's like, you've got to be able to like relinquish some control. And they kind of get into like a little squabble because he's like not getting it. And then Dorit makes a comment. She's like, I would like him to help with the kids. I would like him to help with scheduling and little things. I don't always need the grand gestures. Like the grand gestures are great, but I don't need it. Like I want a partner. Like I want somebody like to lean on, and she hasn't felt like she can lean on PK lately. And it was kind of poignant like how she said that, because it made me think of Kim Kardashian and Kanye, where she made a comment similar. Like she was like, I've had all these grand gestures, but like I don't have the little things. And sometimes the little things are like what matters most. So especially to women, you know, I just thought that was interesting and wanted to point that out. Also, there are reports that Dorit and PK have split, but I don't know if it's been confirmed yet. So this like whole like surprise dinner kind of like gave us a peek into like how things haven't been that good. But with Dorit and PK, you can only like take their word so far. Because they're little scammers and they kind of like ham things up, you know, in the press and on the show. So you never really know if you're getting the full story with them. So I kind of just like take whatever's going on with PK and Dorit with like a grain of salt. Next is Portia's birthday party. And as per usual, we see Kyle running around like a chicken with her head cut off, setting everything up. Meanwhile, Mauricio is just like stuffing his face with chips and guac and being like, honey, what have you been doing? And it's like, she's putting this party together, Mauricio, and here you are just stuffing chips down your gullet. Like, come on, help your wife. Kyle basically makes this like comment about like how Mauricio's so busy with work and she feels like the agency is the other woman. And the agency is his business. But she feels like the agency is the other woman. And it's interesting that she said the other woman because Mauricio has a track record of having cheating allegations that he has never beat in the press. So it's very interesting that she used the other woman because we all think that Mauricio has had other women. Interesting. Mauricio's mom shows up because it's Portia's birthday party, and she's basically like, she confronts Kyle. I see all this like separation gossip and talking about you and Mauricio getting a divorce, and I just don't know what to believe. And then Kyle was like, well, I just went out one day without my wedding ring and people just started speculating. And it's like, okay, Kyle, like I don't think that's like the only reason, but okay, we'll take your word for it, whatever. And then her and Mo just like, the rest of the party, it's just like, they're just so stressed out. And I'm like, geez Louise, like it was making me like feel stressed out. And then Mo was like, I wish we would have cleaned up this mail. And Kyle was like, why didn't you clean it up? Like you're stressing me out about cleaning up the mail when like you could have cleaned up the mail. See, this is where those like petty resentments come in, you know, like it's just like a build. It's just a build with all the little things are stacking up. It's not just like one big thing. It's just a bunch of little things. And then we get into tattoo talk. And this is another little thing. But Mauricio's mother is against tattoos because they are Jewish. And I believe, I'm not going to say I know for certain, but I know there are some cemeteries, like Jewish cemeteries, where you cannot be buried there because you have tattoos. And it's like a very, like, tattoos are very taboo in that culture. As far as I know, and from what I've read and seen, I don't know 1000%. I can't, like, I'm just saying what I think I know. But yeah, so that comes up, and Mauricio's mom is like very conservative, so like she's not really into tattoos. Portia gets a Cartier love ring, which is like $1,200. I'm sure she got other gifts, but like, geez Louise, she's turning 15. She's getting a like $1,200 ring. Whatever. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut because I'm going to sound like a hater, because I wish I had a $1,200 ring and when I was her age, but that did not happen to me. You want to know what I got for my 15th birthday? I don't even know what I got for my 15th birthday. But then we shift to Kyle talking to Mauricio's mom again, and she basically spills the beans that Mauricio has a tattoo. Like, she confesses that she has tattoos, and then, like, his mom is like, oh, okay, I don't care. And then she, like, says that Mo has a tattoo. And then she tells Mo about it, and Mo's pissed. He's like, why couldn't you let me tell my mom about my tattoo? Like, that's up to me to say it. And then that becomes a whole thing, and then Kyle's just kind of pestering Mauricio about it, and he's like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I do not want to talk about it right now. And it's this whole thing, and then Kyle is like, okay, well, I'll just, he's pissed now. And she goes off to like kind of pout, and Mauricio's just looking ticked. We see the women starting to pack for Las Vegas, and Lucy, Crystal's housekeeper, I love her. She's so funny. She was like, that dress is ugly. She told Crystal she's like packing, and Crystal's like, okay, tell me how you really feel. And Lucy's just like, it's ugly. And then Avi, Sutton's assistant, he said that she will definitely find a man in the dress that she's packing. And Sutton just kind of like is startled by that. And then they get onto a private jet and they set sail for Las Vegas. And Kyle's the one who got the private jet, which is cool. And then they give Crystal her gift, and it's this really pretty like moon pendant necklace. And it was like $3,000. They put like the tag on there. And then they're going to be going to Magic Mike in Las Vegas. So that's like a big thing. They're all like hot and bothered about it because it's all women in their 40s. And then Erica makes a confession and is like, I gave up fighting for Lent. And everybody's like, okay. She's like, as a good Catholic. And everybody's like, oh, okay, Erica, sure. Like, you're certainly religious with everything else that Erica has been doing the past few seasons and how she's been living her life lately. We're like, okay, Erica, you're a good Catholic. Whatever you say, you're giving up fighting with people for Lent. Got it. And then they get to Las Vegas, and two red Phantoms, Rolls-Royce Phantoms, show up, and that's what they ride into their hotel. And then we find out Dorit didn't bring glam, but Crystal brought glam. And Crystal is an avid person. Like, she has made it clear that she doesn't like paying for glam and bringing them on trips, but she decided to do it this time. And it was just funny that Dorit saying that she didn't bring glam, but Crystal brought glam, and Crystal never brings glam. So it's very funny. And they show up at this hotel, and they're in this suite, this huge suite. It's, I guess, a 15,000 square foot like hotel suite. It's gorgeous. It's stunning. Amazing. And then Dorit and Kyle end up sharing a room and sharing a bed. And then we get a flashback to when Dorit thought it was weird that Kyle and Teddy shared a bed once on a girls' trip, and basically was like hinting that like Kyle is a lesbian. And it's like a double layered statement now because there's like just like rumors that the reason for Mo and Kyle's divorce is because of Kyle being a lesbian. So it was very interesting that they kind of threw that in there. Because they threw in the clip of Kyle saying, I guess I'm a lesbian then. And so it's kind of funny that they did that. Very interesting. I noticed it. And then we get a preview for next week. It's a to be continued episode. And we get a preview that shit goes down at Magic Mike. And Sutton gets upset, walks out, and then she calls Kyle a bitch. And I think it's going to be pretty messy next week. So So I am looking forward to it. That's where we're ending today. I hope you guys enjoyed this recap, and also I hope you guys enjoyed the episode if you watched the episode. I thought it was really good. I'm super excited for next week's episode. It's gonna be good, and yeah, that's it. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment down below, let me know what you think, let me know what your thoughts were for this episode 2. Be sure to check out my Twitter at @MANMAN and my Instagram at Midwest Mansfield. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah, mwah, mwah.